If you are late to file your GST returns, there might be some relief. The Rajasthan High Court today has ruled that no late fee can be charged for filings for the month of July and August. The court also told the government to correct the GST network glitches as soon as possible. The government too is considering a waiver since there are still 50 lakh taxpayers yet to file their returns. Remember, the deadline as prescribed by the government is today. Joining us now to discuss this is Prateek Jain, leader of indirect tax at PwC India. Prateek, what do you make of what the Rajasthan High Court has said? And this is something that we've discussed in the past as well, Prateek, and the government or the GST Council is actively mulling this because of the problems that the GSTN has faced.
Right. So see, there's a few elements to that. Rajasthan High Court has only said that there should not be any late fees which should be charged. There should be a facility of manual filing as well. I mean, there are several things that you have to look at. Of course, it's a High Court decision. Government has a right to appeal against the decision in Supreme Court. And more importantly, the question is not only late filing of returns. The question is a larger question because what is happening is that a lot of businesses are not still able to claim the opening credit. Okay, and therefore, if they have to make more payment, then there is an interest cost that they have to incur. So I think had it been only a late filing issue and there was a minor penalty or interest involved, that would have been fine by businesses. But the larger issue is that in many cases, the payment which has been made by businesses are not reflected in the system as yet, and they're not sure what to do. So Rajasthan High Court decision obviously, comes as a bit of a relief for the taxpayers, but GSTN still is giving a lot of issues to the businesses.
Yes, and we had that first meeting of the ministerial panel on the GST, and they met over the weekend in Bengaluru to try and address those issues. We also are given to understand that this is a serious concern that the finance minister has asked officials to work on. But what do you believe could be the implications of this High Court order, Prateek? Because as you said, this could be appealed, but in essence, what do you believe could be the implications of this particular order?
So this order, I've not gone through in detail, but this order does say that if there are system-related issues, the taxpayer should not be put in difficulty. And therefore, if there have been delays in filing, there should not be any penal consequences. I don't think it talks about delay in payment of tax. I think it only talks about delay in filing of returns. So still, if you have not made the payment on time, I don't think the judgment will provide any relief to that extent. I think it also talks about setting up of a local help desk in every state for GST, and perhaps that is something which the council would take note of. But again, I think today is the last day for filing 3B, and I'm told that still businesses are facing a lot of issues in filing the summary return, and in many cases, the opening credit which the businesses had claimed is not getting reflected in the system, and so on and so forth. And some cases, it is taking undue time for processing. So all those issues that we were talking about a few days back, perhaps they still exist, and I think perhaps the government will need to extend this deadline also, which expires today.
Well, will they extend or not? As Prateek was pointing out, trouble still plaguing the GSTN. But Prateek, appreciate you joining us here with your thoughts on the Rajasthan High Court order.